What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about loneliness. To give you guys a little backstory here, so about three years ago, I had gotten out of a long-term relationship. I had been with this girl for like 5-6 years, and at the end of it, I literally had like zero friends. The friends that I had had in college and my high school, I had fallen out of touch with. And here I was just kind of starting as a nobody. So the day that I decided to get out of that relationship, I decided I was going to go to a coffee shop and essentially just rewrite my entire life, like the next 5-10 years, what I want to do, the type of person that I want to become, goals that I had, and just really start from scratch. Anyways, for whatever reason at this coffee shop, there was like one outlet literally in the entire store. So it just so happened to be at this one table that two college girls were at. So I went over and was like, yo, do you guys mind if I like use an outlet? And as I'm interacting with them, building rapport, keep in mind that I essentially just got out of about 6 years of relational baggage, and so I don't want to project that on them. Long story short, these two just random college girls end up being like two really good friends, honestly, for about a couple months. And so after a few months of getting to know them, I started to look elsewhere, for friends that I wanted to add to my friend arsenal, if you will. So I was looking on meetup.com. I was going to like volleyball events at this like little sports club. I was going to different like churches. That summer I had downloaded Tinder for the first time, which I'm just going to save that for another video. And then eventually, fast forward a few months, I meet this one girl in an elevator. She introduces me to like the acting scene. I end up signing with this one agency, and they are able to basically get me like some different jobs and like as like an extra in like commercials, like different like local photo shoots. So that was really cool because that opened up a lot of other doors to meet different creatives. And then in March of 2020, this agency invites me to go to this fashion show with them, and that was huge, right? I mean, a year ago I was a nobody. Like I had no friends. I knew what I had to do to get out of the place that I was in before, but just being able to look back at a year and realizing like, man, how like I came out of so much, and now I have so many people in my life. I have incredible opportunities. That was just a really cool feeling to take a step back and just kind of witness some of that growth. So life was good, man, at least for a little while. So yeah, during that summer, I was going out 5-6 nights a week, restaurants, a little partying here and there. Seeing friends, just really living life in the fast lane. And the more that I would hang out and commit to all these different people and groups, the more I realized that the less and less I was devoted towards things that were actually meaningful and had actually helped me become a better version of myself, like reading and writing and taking care of my body, my physical health, things like that. And I didn't have time for those things because I didn't make time for those things anymore. And eventually those friendships that I had slowly turned into more of a place of validation for me than it was like a meaningful relationship. And once you stop spending time with yourself, you start to look in other places to fulfill those needs in you. And what was interesting is there was this direct correlation between the time that I was putting into these relationships versus the loneliness that I was feeling. So I was choosing quantity over quality as I'm trying to divide up all of my time to invest in dozens of people. And the sad part is like you begin to kind of scatter different pieces and parts of yourself in all of these different relationships, and so nobody really gets to see the real you. And like after a while, you really start to feel that in here when it's 1 a.m. and it's just you alone with your thoughts. And the worst part okay, so the worst part is this voice that comes in your head that takes you by surprise and says to you, you have friends, you shouldn't be lonely. And once you start to believe that phrase, you have friends, you shouldn't be lonely, that voice in your head, that's when you start to get into a lot of trouble, because then you start to ignore your own needs. See, the problem isn't do I have friends? It's, do I have connections? Do I have something meaningful? Anybody can have a friend, right? But not everyone has those meaningful, vulnerable connections. And you can have 1,000 people in your life and not a single person can really know you. So once I started to understand this kind of like lapse in my logic, my focus became on establishing like more just meaningful relationships with people, man. So in the process, I lost a lot of friends, but I had to, because I was starting to get lost in the sauce. I never go along with someone just for the sake of going along with someone. You know, it's like in everything you have to put yourself first. At the end of your life, nobody's going to give an account for you. No one's opinion ultimately matters. So don't be afraid to reject people, to say no. And for the love of God, man, don't settle for a person or for a group because you feel lonely. Everyone feels lonely at some point, and it has a way of making you fall in love with people's potential rather than their reality. And if you want total clarity in your life, like, man, like, learn to be alone with just you and your thoughts. So much of what we call like love nowadays is really just filling voids and meeting needs out of desperation rather than a ravishment and an outpouring of love that stems from a place of wholeness and completion. You know, it's like we're looking for people to save us and to rescue us from ourselves, when it's like, dude, there's a verse in the Bible that says, he who loves himself loves his wife. And I would venture to take that even a step further and say that you can only love in proportion to the love that you've given to yourself. And the beautiful thing about this is that love that you have for yourself will actually start to attract people into your life because you have molecularly raised your vibration. So the things that you start to attract into your life are a reciprocal of that frequency. So anyways, guys, that's all I got. I just want to remind you that if you feel alone, you're not, and it's okay to feel that way. Chances are you're actually leveling up, and that's a good thing.